Hello everyone, this is Persephone, and recently something really awesome happened. Someone linked one of my videos to our brain cells and I got a new fan from there. And I'm not going to mention him because he asked me not to, but he has paid me to create a video and answer some of his questions. But after looking up the questions, I realized that they are so awesome that I'm not going to actually create videos about them separately because they're not connected to each other, and I think they are things that many people can benefit if we discuss about them. So thank you very much for your donation and your ideas. And today we're going to discuss the first question, that is, how do you know that women can understand you're a provider? How do you let them know? Are you on the right track? How do you avoid women who just think that you want cheap sex from them? Okay, those are all very interesting questions, and pretty much they boil down to small changes that you can do to have very different results. What do I mean? There is a pretty high chance that it's not you who is the problem or creates the communication difficulties, but it's the women themselves. Because let me tell you something. I don't know if you have watched my videos about pick-me's or even worse, veras, desperate females with no standards, but usually women who are there and they beg men to pay attention to them, to have sex with them and so on, are women that they don't even understand the concept of a provider man. They have essentially so many mental issues, daddy issues, whatever you want to call them, that they don't love themselves, and the idea of someone actually taking care of them is an alien aspect. Those are women that you are going to meet in clubs, in bars, throwing themselves at anyone who will even look at their direction, on Facebook groups and other free dating places, and so on. So the first question you have to ask yourself, if you are a man who wants to run beta provider game, is, am I at the right place? If you are going out for clubbing or to trashy bars or to low quality places, you are going to meet women who are there to offer cheap sex, to get the love they didn't get from their dad, and they are going to expect you to be the same kind of man, okay? So the first step is you stop going to those places. You stop going to places where women don't love themselves, don't value themselves, and they are pick-me's and veras. So where are you going to go? If you do online dating, obviously it's time to start joining sites that have a paid subscription, or even better, sites that they do a background check. Because the people who go there they have a good head on their shoulders for the most part, and they want to find a partner. And they're not going to be catfish, they're not going to be basic white trash living in a trailer, they're going to be there to find a husband or a provider. It could be older women over 30 or women who just want to settle in general. If you're not into online dating, you have to start going to places that are more expensive, okay? Doesn't have to be a 5-star overpriced restaurant, but it can be a place where a beer costs $2 and the girls wear, I don't know, cowboy shorts, and they just get drunk with shots and they think that's fun. The women who are searching for providers are women who usually take better care of their looks, and their looks cost. Wanting to find a provider and looking good is interconnected in the sense of those women generally love themselves more than the veras, okay? When you love yourself, that manifests on your looks, on how much you take care of your looks. It manifests on your mannerism, it manifests on where you position yourself. So if you aren't in a place where you can meet high-class women, you can start a plan on how you are going to do that. That's a long-term plan. It may include upgrading your friends, upgrading your finances. For example, if you have a job, you can go to a better job or get a promotion to start associating with women who are also more high-class, or they make money, and so on. I'm saying that not only because men who are going to say, okay, I'm not a child, so I have to beta provide, need to hear it, but also because you have to understand that if a woman doesn't love herself, same with a man, gender is irrelevant here, she's not going to be able to love you either. If someone is on a self-loathing and self-hating situation, or they have more baggage than the airport station that they don't work on, they are going to be problematic in a relationship. And that's why those women give only cheap sex, like you called it, because that's all they feel they have to offer. But the women who look for providers, they have done some work with themselves. I'm not talking about ripping off gold diggers like Asian women that if it's white and has a penis, they're going to marry it. Okay, I'm not talking about this pathology that is on the other side of the spectrum. I'm talking about a woman that she has had her heart broken a few times, she has been scammed a few times, and she starts to look for long-term potential on a man versus just what kind of dick he has. So the first thing you're going to do after you position yourself into those places is to be able to appear as someone who can run beta provider game. Because trust me, if you want to notice the women who want that, the women want to notice you 10 times more. What does that mean? You have to look clean, well kept, and wear clothes that even if they're not necessarily expensive, they show that you put effort in how you look. You're going to say, Persephone, why do you even need to mention clean? If I had $1 every time I saw a man with long unkempt hair or an untrimmed beard or whatever who thinks he's running any kind of game, I would be more of a billionaire than Kylie Jenner is. You have to have a fresh haircut, like trimmed nails, clothes that they show that you know how to dress and your mom isn't dressing you up, or you don't live in a basement, or you're not some kind of sexpat tourist in the Philippines, that you're a normal guy. If you need help with that, there are plenty of male channels I can recommend that show good clothing. I'm not a fashion like YouTuber or fashion blogger or whatever, but the general rule is not clothes that your mom picked for you, okay? You have to look like someone who has confidence, and you need to be able to have a job or some source of income. And trust me, the women are going to also approach you, okay? The women who want a beta provider, I mean. So if you have played your cards game and you start getting matches on social media, or you get yourself in an office or any kind of place where women look to settle down, or you start hanging out with friends who are married or have relationships and they're also beta providing, those women, like the women who date your friends, they're going to have sisters, they're going to have cousins, they're going to have best friends who are going to notice you. You are going to start getting matchmaking offers, double date offers, and so on. So you have done all of those things, and you have landed a date with a woman that she is up to what we are looking for. Which means she has to be someone that is not a land whale, she's not a mental patient, like who escaped from the asylum, she doesn't have 3 children from 3 different dads, she's at least semi-normal. And you start the conversation. You can say things, if it comes up to what you're looking in a relationship, you can say, I like taking care of my partner. I like being there for the woman that I'm with to support her in every way possible. You can drop indirect hints like that. You can even be more indirect. Like I said, I always support the Asperger way, and just tell her, I like providing for women. I'm a generous man. This makes you look cool. But you have to be able to actually follow through, okay? Because there is also the category of failed pickup artist that pretends to be that, and then when the woman tries to take things to the next level, the man bails out, or he just doesn't have the money to follow through. That's even more pathetic, okay? If the woman is there for the right reasons, the same reasons as you are, like she's looking for a long-term partner who is going to provide, she's going to be very interested, she's going to ask you follow-up questions, you will be able to tell, okay? If the woman is a gold digger, she's going to ask you things that usually are horrific. For example, I had a guy that I knew that he went on a date with an Asian woman years ago, and he said that on the first date, the Asian woman asked him the exact amount of money that is on his bank account. This is a gold digger, not a woman that you want to provide for, and you need to run the other direction. But if the woman asks you follow-up questions like, what's your job, what are your plans, what kind of arrangement do you want with your partner, you are on a good path. By what kind of arrangement, this is something that you should have thought beforehand, and it's good to be as clear as possible. I mean, do you want kids? Do you want a woman that is going to be a stay-at-home mom while you work? Do you want a woman that is okay with a part-time job? Do you want to not live with a woman and just cover her bills and be there for only fun like sugar daddies do? The clearer you are about what you want, the easier you can attract it and the more people respect you, okay? I don't consider any arrangement wrong personally, as long as no one is being abused. If you want to be the man who is the breadwinner and the woman sits at home to raise the kids, that's fine. For women who want the opposite, that's also fine. Like I said, do what works for you. If you're dating someone who already has kids, that's going to be an extra advantage because you can say that you can help her have more time with her kids and be less stressed. And for those that you don't like it and they don't care, if you have a micro penis, if you're 3 feet tall, if you have 10 mental illnesses that they're being passed down, you have no business having kids, you have to be removed from the gene pool, and you have to date a woman who already has kids. You don't like it, that's not my problem. We don't need any more micro penis mental cells. So you have to pretty much lay your cards on the table in a way that is not too direct, in my opinion. You don't have to be too direct, but if the woman asks you and she insists, it's fine to be direct as well. You have to be very careful though to not be scammed by women as well. Since this is paid content, I'm as fair as I can. There are women that they're going to say, as long as a man doesn't pay all the bills, I'm single. As long as a man hasn't proposed, I'm single. As long as I don't have as much money as I need, I'm single, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 or 4 of those men in a waiting line, or I'm going to have multiple sugar daddies. So we don't know for sure if the woman you have just met is this type of woman. At the first stages of the relationship or the courtship or whatever you want to call it, you have to be paying attention to the signs that the woman has multiple men. And if it is such a woman, you have to discard her, okay? Because that's also a form of gold digging. And by indications that the woman is actually playing with multiple men is a woman having many expensive gifts totally out of her supposed lifestyle, like Louis Vuitton bags, which is an escort sign. A woman who is available only specific hours or specific times and usually not available in the weekends. Usually those women are sugar babies and the sugar daddy wants them for the weekend, so the rest of the week they go beta provider hunting. A woman who is keeping you completely compartmentalized and you met her on a dating site or on some kind of site and she's actually there for, again, like I said, money hunting, and she doesn't introduce you to her friends, she doesn't introduce you to her family, she doesn't let you spend the night, she doesn't want to spend the night with you, and so on. All those are red flags. Sometimes it's something innocent. Sometimes a woman may say that she volunteers somewhere in the weekend, and she truly does. But until you make sure and you can do a background check and confirm the information, don't spend too much on her. Treat her with respect like a normal partner. Don't jump into the, oh my god, I found the one, oh my god, I found the soulmate, and other stuff that they're going to leave you heartbroken and broke, okay, and potentially broken as well mentally. Overall, I think that finding a woman who wants to be provided for is much healthier and much more stable than dealing with mentally ill women who just want cheap sex and trying to convert them into something they are not. And I don't say this with judgment. There are times when people have to do the work with themselves and emerge better people, okay? But you can't be there to rescue them. So if you have a history with women who have daddy issues and just sleep around and they're mental patients, let those women go. You do them a favor, because if they stay single for a bit, they're going to work on their issues and maybe they can be a partner for a different man. It's good to have an abundance mentality that a man who can actually provide for a woman is something that is popular since the beginning of times, okay? It's your best shot if you're not a child. A man who is 63 at his mom's basement, morbidly obese and playing video games, he's going to die alone once his mom dies first, and he's going to be found later, like 10 days later, from the stands.